Okay, so these days, if you're a neuroscientist or a scientist or a biologist, you will read that the brain is the most complex object in the universe. Once again, if you're a neuroscientist or a biologist or a scientist in general, you will often read that the human brain is the most complex object in the universe. Everything we do, motor and sensory skills, art, music, literature, everything, emotions, we give the credit to the brain. It is what is, in a way, ruling our life. So I would say this is a very wrong assumption. Very wrong assumption. First of all, I don't think that the brain is an object, but a modified form of awareness. And in fact, a modified form of cosmic consciousness. So let's try and break this down a little bit. The human brain, as I said before, is described as one of the most complex and fascinating structures in the universe. It serves, according to scientists, as the central organ for processing sensory information, generating thoughts, and facilitating emotions. So I would say that it does not process sensory information. It is the conduit for generating sensory information. I would also say it does not generate thoughts. It is the conduit. And yes, it can facilitate emotions. But let's examine this thing that we call the brain through the lens of consciousness. And if we do that, then we can view the brain as a multimodal qualia experience within formless consciousness. The perspective I'm sharing with you suggests that non-local consciousness modifies itself into a rich tapestry of sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts. The brain therefore acts as a complex projection of non-local consciousness, embodying the essence of multimodal qualia, qualities of experience. Let's go a little deeper, understanding qualia in consciousness. Qualia, the subjective experiences that arise from the generation of sensations, such as the redness of a rose, the bitterness of coffee, etc., the sweetness of love. These experiences are inherently personal, cannot be fully communicated or quantified. Consciousness, therefore, can be considered a state of awareness or sentience that encompasses all these qualia experiences. And in this context, formless consciousness refers to an underlying state of awareness that transcends the physical boundaries and all physical boundaries, including the brain, and is not confined to any form or structure. Let us look at the brain as a multimodal qualia experiences. The brain acts as a conduit for processing information from the generation of sensory modalities, such as sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. And there's no sensory information coming from outside or inside. It's just sensory information generated on the screen of consciousness. And that includes sight, sound, taste, smell, etc. And it integrates them into a coherent whole. But what integrates them into a coherent experience is the organizing power of consciousness itself. This integration is what we perceive as reality, a continuous flow of multimodal qualia. Each sensory input, and I would not say sensory input, each generation of sensations and sense perceptions contributes to the richness of our conscious experience, allowing us to navigate and interpret the world around us. But there's also no world around us. That's a human construct for the qualia experiences on the screen of consciousness. Just like when you're looking at me on your computer or your television or whatever interface you have, the image you're seeing is a behavior of the screen anyway. So this is how conscious experience and even what we call the world is created. Sensations are raw generation of consciousness experiencing itself, and sense perceptions are the interpretations of those sensations in consciousness using the brain as its conduit, which in turn is also a modified form of consciousness. So beyond this, of course, sense perceptions, we generate in consciousness mental representations called images, feelings, emotions, thoughts, cognitive processes, and these elements further enrich conscious experience. Images can also invoke memories, inspire creativity, feelings, color our interactions with emotional depth, and thoughts, of course, enable what we call reasoning and decision making. But in the deeper reality, it is the infinite organizing power of non-local consciousness that is doing this. And this non-local consciousness is not confined to the physical boundaries of the brain. It exists beyond space and time, influencing and interacting with the generation of that which we call physical reality. So these ways are not understood by science because science has a materialistic bias, looks at the brain as a separate object. So what is really happening is that consciousness is modifying itself into qualia. Non-local consciousness is modified itself into distinct qualia experiences. And the brain itself is a multimodal qualia experience. So the brain is a projection of consciousness. The brain can be seen as a projection or manifestation of non-local awareness, appearing as physical form, but actually still can be defined as multimodal qualia on the screen of consciousness, not separate from its source. However, as a model, we can say that the brain acts as an interface through which formless consciousness experiences itself in diverse ways. And the complexity of neural networks is just the complexity of the qualia network that is generated in consciousness through attention and intention and a creative process. Why is this important? This is important because all of science is giving credit to the brain. The credit should go to you, the awareness, the true self that is modifying itself as the brain and is not separate from the brain. The brain, the mind, and consciousness are a unified experience in consciousness that creates the appearance of brain, body, and physical universe. So the brain is not the most complex object in the universe. In fact, there are no objects in the universe. You are the most complex being in the universe that generates the experience of mind, brain, body, and universe. I hope this is clear because as long as we give credit to a physical object, then we are at the mercy of matter, when in fact matter is a construct that we generate in consciousness. Everything that we call matter and the physical world is consciousness knowing itself generating experiences for itself, modifying itself, governing itself, and becoming the experience of mind, body, and universe. All unified process, qualia interactions on the screen of consciousness. Just watch what you're listening to and what you're seeing. Where is that experience happening? On your screen, in your brain, in your eyes, in your ears, or in your consciousness? Even the idea of eyes, brain, ears, and sound, all of that is in consciousness alone. You are the universe, literally, not metaphorically.